Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a former Tasmanian tax agent has been charged with allegedly defrauding up to 50 clients over a 2.5-year period. The Launceston man is facing dozens of charges over the $1 million alleged fraud. Letitia Wallace has more.
Following an 18-month police investigation in conjunction with the Australian Tax Office, a 35-year-old man has now been charged over the alleged illegal activity. The man's accused of misappropriating individual tax returns and falsifying business activity statements in his role as a tax agent from September 2017 until March 2020. That's despite his tax agent registration being terminated in 2019. It first came to the attention of police early last year when victims came forward. Detectives say they believe up to 50 clients have been impacted.
The further you delve into these sorts of investigations, the more comes out quite often. But we think we're getting towards the end of it. There'll be civil and no doubt criminal proceedings that people will have to take in relation to that.
Police urge anyone who thinks they may have been affected to report it and also contact the ATO.
You like to think your money's safe when you're dealing with tax agents or accountants, but unfortunately for a myriad of reasons, the human factor sometimes comes in, and that's why we're still in the job, unfortunately.
The man's facing a total of 41 charges and has been bailed to appear in the Launceston Magistrates Court on May 26.
2 women accused of trafficking drugs in the state after a major ice seizure last week have pleaded not guilty. The pair from New South Wales is accused of dealing in the proceeds of crime and trafficking in a controlled substance. Police allegedly found more than $750,000 in cash, as well as 1.3 kilograms of methamphetamine in a car after a traffic stop on the Bass Highway at Deloraine. The women in their 40s were refused bail and have been committed to the Supreme Court in June. A 21-year-old man has been charged after allegedly bashing a prison inmate. Police were called to Risdon Prison around 5 yesterday afternoon following reports of a serious assault. A 26-year-old man remains in hospital in a serious but stable condition. A fire has left a northeast harvesting business with a damage bill of nearly $3 million. Police say the blaze at Tullindina was deliberately lit. It's believed offenders entered the site overnight. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. It's hoped forecast rain will weaken a bushfire which jumped containment lines in the Derwent Valley earlier this week. An advice level warning has been issued for the blaze at Styx. Sustainable Timber Tasmania lost control of the planned burn on Wednesday.
They've got all the resources they need to contain that fire, and a review will be put in place to investigate the matter.
The government-owned company has promised to work with impacted groups, including grape growers. Nearly 200 hectares have been burnt so far. The state's supply of COVID vaccines is set to be boosted from next week as the rollout accelerates. As the process moves into clinics, GPs say communication will be key in making sure it runs smoothly.
Over 3,500 Tasmanians have been vaccinated against COVID as part of the state's Phase 1A rollout. The next stage kicks off on March 22.
This is a significant number of Tasmanians, and at this stage we're estimating it will take around 4 months.
180,000 people will be inoculated as part of Phase 1B. Community clinics in Launceston, Latrobe, New Norfolk, Brighton and Kingston will be set up in coming weeks, aiding the hospital-based rollout.
It doesn't matter where you live, we will make sure, in partnership with the federal government, that your community is covered and you get the vaccination.
The Health Minister says we're still on track to give everyone a first dose by October. That's despite nationwide concerns about supply and wastage.
We're really well set up for immunising groups of people in a safe and efficient way.
GPs will be critical in this stage of the rollout. They say thorough communication is vital.
It's quite challenging because it's all new to us, but essentially we want to be able to provide our patients with information as it comes so that everyone's clear on what the process is going to be.
Certainly the rollout's been slower than we had, been led to believe, and it's been a waiting game.
Aged care homes want clearer communication in the federal rollout. Glenview were told they'd be vaccinated in February, but are still waiting.
If it is known, that we will be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time, then tell us. The longer we get to plan and to encourage and to ensure we get the best take-up, the better.
Having been on edge for over 12 months, they're looking forward to the relief of knowing that their residents are finally vaccinated. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Premier is claiming a win in the quest for a Tasmanian AFL team following discussions with league boss Gil McLachlan. Peter Gutwin says the AFL has now committed to a mid-year deadline for reviewing the state's business case for a team.
The independent review, I'm very firmly of the view that will stand that case up. I think faced with that evidence, I don't think the AFL are going to have too many options, to be frank.
The club presidents and league have also committed to delivering on a timeline for a team by the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Premier has sent an urgent request to the Prime Minister, calling for Hobart to be included in his $1 billion tourism stimulus package. The federal government announced yesterday half-price airfares would be offered to 13 regional destinations across the country, including Launceston, Burnie and Devonport. But today, Peter Gutwin has written to Scott Morrison calling for the programme's expansion. He says tourism operators in the capital need ongoing help, and the move would bring even more travellers to Tasmania. One additional cheap flight was today added from Adelaide to Hobart. The state government has revealed an ambitious plan to fix our unenviable literacy rates. Currently, 1 in 2 Tasmanians struggle with low literacy, fueling the new targeted approach to push Year 7 students above the national average by 2030.
On the same page about Tasmania's poor literacy rates.
Clearly there's still a long way to go.
We absolutely can do better, and it's not only a problem in schools.
The Education Minister flicking through a personal favourite.
My dad thinks snakes are scary.
Before unveiling a plan to stamp out illiteracy by 2030.
By Year 7, all young people will meet an expected reading standard that is above the national minimum.
It will mean a more intense focus on reading and writing in the classroom, as well as yearly testing from prep through to Year 7, running in parallel with NAPLAN.
So that teachers can get a very good idea of a student's progress.
An added stress for teachers, but the government says they will be offered professional learning and extra resources. An expert task force will spearhead the program, which will begin at the start of Term 2. Years overdue, according to Labor, calling for proper action in education, not just words.
He has committed to these targets before and he's failed to deliver, and we are going backwards as a state.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
It's everyone's job to keep Tasmania pest-free. That's the message behind a new biosecurity campaign. Officially launching the General Biosecurity Duty, the government has partnered with producers to call on locals to remain vigilant when it comes to spotting and reporting risks.
We've always said that biosecurity is a shared responsibility, so we all have a role to play along the entire biosecurity continuum, whether that's pre-border, at the border or post-border.
That means to be aware of diseases, of pests, of weeds, to protect the world around you, our natural environment, our agricultural sector, our seafood industry.
The plan officially comes into effect at the end of the month. Well, when bushfires struck Tasmania in 2019, it raised a nervous question for Craig Webb. What would he do if flames ever threatened his eagle sanctuary near Kettering? 2 years and 1 corporate citizen later, he's confident he has the answer.
As flames spread across the state, it sent a chill down the spine of raptor man Craig Webb.
And all those human fires were raining ash down on here, and it was the smell of death in the air. It was horrible.
If fire ever reached his eagle sanctuary, the only option was to bundle birds into cars and flee.
It was then that we made a decision that we've got to do something about it.
That something is a system of 40 sprinklers, capable of unleashing 750 litres in a mere minute.
Can douse the whole installation or can focus on a particular area, which is really important.
The bill paid for in part by Tas Networks. The company says it's well aware of the threat power lines pose to birds of prey. 8 have been injured on infrastructure so far this year.
We are conscious that we've still got more work to do. We are still injuring birds, so this is an important partnership.
And other threats aren't going away.
We're logging all the incidents throughout Tasmania where these birds are coming to grief, and we're just solidly busy, and we will get busier.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's bowlers have ripped through the South Australian top order, steamrolling the Redbacks for just 104, their lowest one-day total in nearly 20 years. Jackson Bird, Riley Meredith and Jared Freeman each took 2 scalps, while spinner Tom Andrews was the pick of the bowlers, snaring 3 wickets against his old side.
You can't sugarcoat it. You can't make excuses. That is a dismal, disappointing batting display.
Hayne found some form in the Tigers' chase, scoring a half-century in a 9-wicket win. Meanwhile, locally, the Greater Northern Raiders are out to make history this weekend when they compete in their first ever Women's One Day Cup final. But they'll face a tough Clarence side who have dominated this season.
I think we're the only team to beat them this year in the 50 over comp, so we're just going to go out and give it a good crack and see what happens.
We've had some good team performances and some really good individual performances, so it should lead us in good stead for the final.
The final will be held at Kangaroo Bay on Sunday. Commonwealth Games gold medalist Rebecca Van Ash has partnered with Alison Venn to take out the Women's Open Pairs title on the final day of the Tasmanian Bowls Championships in Launceston. The pair edged out defending champions Lauren Banks and Georgia Morn by 7 shots. In the Men's Open final, Taylor Mayle and Mark Neitz were crowned the winners. The first trophy of the football season is on the line this Saturday as South Hobart and Kimbra face off. The 2 clubs finished 3rd and 4th respectively last year and will be both looking for silverware in the Laca Selja Cup.
When there's something to be won, everybody wants to win it. Whether it's pre-season or not, it's a trophy there to be won, so we'll be aiming to win it.
It's the last game before the league starts, so it's an important game. I think everybody wants to win trophies. It sets your season up.
The Women's Summer Cup final will be held as a curtain raiser, with Olympia Warriors looking to continue last season's dominance against the Kimbra Lions.
Good evening. Campania warmed up nicely to register 30 degrees today. Hobart 29, Launceston 27, low 20s for Burnie and Devonport. Temperatures up to 9 degrees above average. Grove 28 and Ouse 27. Friendly Beaches 26, 25 today on Bass Strait Islands, Lyawini and Strawn 21. Just some patchy cloud today over the north and east, along with a layer of high cloud that extended statewide. A band of cloud ahead of a cold front extends from southern WA across the Bight. Cloud further north indicates unstable air and thunderstorm activity. Tomorrow, the cold front moves over our region with a trough further northwest. The next high pressure system not far behind, building over southern Western Australia. North nor'easterly winds 15 to 25 knots. They'll shift southwesterly at 20 to 30 knots during the day. Swells at 2.5 metres. Strong wind warning. That's from St Helens Point to Sandy Cape. The weekend, 24 for Hobart, a shower moving in the afternoon, 22 for Medina, showers for Oatlands 23. Launceston, 90% chance of a shower or 2 up to 6 mils, 24 degrees, 21 for Devonport, showers for Lyawini, 17 the top. Burnie, showers clearing and 21, 22 the high for Strawn, showers for Marrawar as well and 20 degrees. And the east, not missing out either, showers on the way and increasing, 25 for St Helens and Swansea, 24 for Orford. UV continues on 7 tomorrow, sun up at 7:05. On Sunday, a few early showers over the west and far south, fine and partly cloudy elsewhere. Similar weather on the go for Monday as winds shift west to southwesterly, and on Tuesday, fine and partly cloudy, the chance of a late shower over the northwest. Sunny and 27 in Perth, morning rain in Adelaide, rain on the way for Melbourne as well, partly cloudy weather and warm in Sydney and Brisbane. It's partly cloudy as well in Hobart, 24 at the moment. Showery over Launceston, 22 degrees, and mostly cloudy over Devonport, currently sitting on 19 degrees. Let's not worry about tomorrow's weather, Kim. Let's reflect on today. What a lovely day it was. You sunbaking or something?
No, definitely not. I'm not telling you what I get up to on my time off. Thank you very much. And that's all your news for now. Join Louise over the weekend. I'll see you Monday. Thanks for joining us. Good night.